Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So some new things have come to light out of the whole January 6th committee thing, right? And yesterday, the Democrats had their big, oh, it's just like Pearl Harbor. It's just like 9/11. You're a fucking idiot. That's ridiculous. Sorry about the language. Excuse me, people. That's ridiculous. It's nothing like those things. But I'm going to play this video. I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to prove to you that Nancy Pelosi and DC Mayor Bowser and the Sergeant at Arms were all in on this plot. January 6th, brought to you by Pelosi, Bowser, and the Sergeant at Arms. And I'm going to prove it with a Sean Hannity clip. And I just happened to be watching this clip, and I'm like, I got to do this one. And if what I'm thinking is true, more people are going to think it. And once more people think it, the Democrats can't control the narrative on this. With Kamala Harris, this was worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11, and it's the And something, let me tell you something about Liz Cheney, who replaced Jim Jordan on this committee. You can tell she's a full-blown lefty now. You know how? I saw her last interview, and it was on Fox News. It was with Brett Baer. And she comes out, and now she's talking in that, you guys know I call it the Southern Baptist preacher voice, that sweet honey talk voice, and you got to put a lot of emotion. And that's exactly what she's doing now. But watch this, and then we'll wrap it up. And then in the comment section, let me know what you think.
Joining us now, two men kicked off the January 6th committee, Congressman Jim Banks, Congressman Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, I'll start with you. Were you given a reason why you were kicked off the committee, one? And number two, you just heard from the Chief of Staff of the Department of Defense, confirmed by the Inspector General of the Department of Defense, that all the things they did were correct. Why were you kicked off the committee? And what are your thoughts about the issue of Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of DC rejecting Donald Trump's call for troops 2 days ahead of time?
No, I think that's why we were kicked off, because Jim and I were raising that question, and then we found out that she wasn't going to let us serve on the committee. First time in American history, frankly, Sean. First time this has ever happened, and I think she's afraid of getting to the truth. Why is it the Sergeant at Arms office will not, Nancy Pelosi will not let them release the communications and documents that surround this whole decision? Why is that? They won't release the information. So yeah, we got conflicting testimony between the Capitol Hill police, who said the police chief said he requested the National Guard be there on January 6th. Sergeant at Arms says, no, you didn't. Conflicting testimony. So one guy says we asked for it. One guy says we did it. The guy who didn't is the one who answers directly to the Speaker's office. And that office will not release the communications between the Speaker's office and the Sergeant at Arms and other communications the Sergeant at Arms have. So we know that's the reason why Jim and I weren't allowed to be on the committee.
Maybe I've just
asked that question.
Maybe I've been cynical in my old age. Why do I think probably they've been bleach bit by this time or smashed with a hammer? Congressman Banks, let me ask you, why doesn't this committee call before its subpoena Nancy Pelosi, the Sergeant at Arms, the Capitol Police Chief, and Mayor Muriel Bowser? Why aren't they being called?
Sean, the most important thing I read today on the internet was a piece from former Speaker Newt Gingrich in Newsweek, who said he knows firsthand, as a former Speaker of the House, that it is the Speaker of the House's responsibility to oversee the Capitol Police and oversee Capitol security. And it gets very uncomfortable when you go down that path. You realize that the breadcrumbs lead to Nancy Pelosi's office. And that distracts from the circus, the narrative. Today was January 6th, the musical at the Capitol. That going down and following the breadcrumbs to Nancy Pelosi's office means that she was negligent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to point out two mistakes that were made by the conservatives in this video. One, they contributed it to incompetence, and the second one is they contributed to negligence. See, that's the mistake within the conservative party. I don't know, maybe the mainstream conservative press is just afraid to say what it was. Nancy Pelosi, Mayor Bowser, And the, sorry, I'm tired. It's early in the morning. I've been up all night trying to get stuff done. Anyway, so they conspired to make this happen. If you look, there are plenty of videos about this, right? Tim Pool on Timcast IRL, him and Ian and Luke talk about it all the time. There was actually people in the crowd instigating. Now, one of these people, they called his name on their show. I forget his name. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Was not only not arrested, not charged, but was on the FBI's most wanted list and was taken off right after, and now has disappeared. You don't think that's a conspiracy? Come on, people. Once the truth comes out, Nancy Pelosi should face charges of treason, sedition. They should run the gamut on her and this DC mayor, but nothing's going to happen to him. I've seen it 1,000 times. You've seen it 1,000 times. Nothing's going to happen. Now, if Trump were Speaker at the House at that time, he'd already be in jail. He'd already be up on treason charges, probably in Gitmo. It's ridiculous. It's out of control. And there you have the evidence. Any rational thinking person can put 2 and 2 together. The president says, hey, I'm having a big rally. Sometimes these things get out of control. It's going to be a very heated day. I'm sending you 20,000 National Guards. Nancy Pelosi, Bowser, and the Sergeant at Arms say no. The Sergeant at Arms even tells the Capitol Hill Police Chief, you didn't do that. Even though the Capitol Hill Police Chief produced documents. Smart man, keeping his emails, huh? Produced documents showing not only did he do it one time, he requested it 6 different times. And every time they said no. Now, if I were Donald Trump and you were turning down my troop help, I would have canceled that rally or moved it somewhere else. Because I would have realized it's a setup, but sometimes our ego clouds our vision. And that's what happened in this one. Trump's ego clouded his vision. If his ego wasn't there, he'd have been like, no, something's fishy here. Something does not smell right. Let me do something else about this. But let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think Pelosi, Bowser, and the Sergeant of Arms did this on purpose and sent instigators into the crowd to make sure it happens, or at least give it a great chance of happening, knowing how charged up everybody was going to be? Because since this has happened, or since Trump has become president, all Pelosi has ever talked about is impeaching him. She tore up his address to the nation right behind him. This woman is full of hate, spite, and vinegar. That's it. I think she set him up. I think she should be charged with treason. Her and Bowser and the Sergeant of Arms should all be arrested. And something else, add on to this, right? Keep in mind, all these 9/11, or all these 9/11, my bad, I'm sorry, got Kamala Harris thing. All these Capitol Hill peaceful protest, mostly peaceful protesters, and then what the left says, right? So I'm gonna do it too. Have been arrested, kept in solitary confinement. They can barely even talk to their families and lawyers. There's a reason for that, because Pelosi, Bowser, and that Sergeant of Arms must know, or must assume somebody knows something, so they don't want anybody to speak. Keep in mind, all they've been charged with is trespass. Who gets locked in solitary confinement for a year for trespass? Matter of fact, in most of the cities that her liberal lefty friends govern, trespass isn't even a crime. So honestly, they shouldn't even be charged. Honestly, let's just be real about it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I on to something here? I think I am. I really don't think it's a matter of me being on to anything. I think it's a matter of other people being afraid to call it a spade a spade. It is what it is. Pelosi, Bowser, and the Sergeant of Arms are all in on this. It just is what it is. But like, subscribe, share. And as always, especially in these days and times, keep your powder dry. Do what you got to do.